Hey friends, welcome to yet another Synced Up Movement Basics video. My name is Kyle, and today we're going to be going over a new skill called Rond de Jambe. So a Rond de Jambe is another ballet skill. It translates to rounding of the leg, and it essentially has us create these circular pathways with our feet. We take what we learned with tendus, with all the forward, side, and back positions, and we stream those positions together into one smooth motion. Like always, before we start, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon below so you can stay up to date with us. And now let's go get into our Rond de Jambes. So like I said earlier, Rond de Jambe means rounding of the leg. Essentially, we're going to be taking our feet and creating these large semicircles on either side of us as we work through the front, side, and back tendu positions, again, in one smooth motion. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to do a forward and reverse Rond de Jambe and some key things you need to be focusing on as you're going through this skill. So we're going to start in our oh so trustworthy first position turned out. And the first thing that you're going to do to start a forward Rond de Jambe is you're going to take whichever leg you're working and you're going to extend that foot out into a forward tendu. All of the technique for our tendus applies to here. We're just not going to be stopping in this position. Once you've reached here, instead of pulling back into first position, you're actually going to open your leg up to the side and go to your side tendu position. Notice my leg is still turned out and rotated. My hips are still square. I'm not letting one hip pop out to the side. I'm staying lifted and my legs are still straight. I didn't allow my leg to turn in as I rounded the corner. I kept it open as I went out to the side. Once I get to this position, I continue that pathway around until I get to my back tendu. And then once I get to here, I pull my foot back into first position. So essentially what a Rond de Jambe is you extend out into the front tendu, or a forward Rond de Jambe. You extend out to a front tendu, you round it out to the side, bring it all the way around to your back tendu, and then you close back to first. Once you've created this position, then you can repeat that Rond de Jambe again. Go out to the front, open to the side, bring it around to the back, and then close to the front again. Make sure, as you're doing this position, remember when we talked about front tendu, we talked about crossing through third first and then extending. That still applies in a Rond de Jambe. So you want to make sure that you're not just opening out to the front, but you're bringing it to your center, rounding all the way around back to your center again, and then you bring it back through third to then close first position again. So be careful that as you get to the back that you overcross again and make sure it's in the center of your body. And then I would say that the hardest thing to do as you're working through your Rond de Jambes is maintain turnout, specifically when you're moving from your second to your back. So the reason that is because you're here and you're open, and the tendency for most people is to push this hip forward and then bring the leg around, or to not allow the leg to stay rotated. So although you go from this position and the leg does start to rotate this way, you're still trying to keep it open and turned out as much as possible. I'm not bringing that quad and that knee forward to the ground ever. That brings me back into my parallel position, and we're trying to avoid that. So make sure that as you go through your side tendu and you're trying to round the corner, that you keep as much turnout as possible as your leg rotates around that hip socket to the back tendu, and then you close to that first position. So just work through that as you're going through your Rond de Jambes and really trying to maintain as much turnout as possible. Great, now we've gone over our forward Rond de Jambes. We're going to talk about our reverse Rond de Jambes, which is the exact same approach, except it's reversed. So you're going to start in your oh so trustworthy first position turned out, and you're going to begin, instead of going to a forward tendu, you're going to go to your back tendu. Same technique applies in terms of crossing, passing through demi-point, all that good stuff. Instead of stopping here or returning back to first, I'm going to round my leg out from the back of me and bring it to my side tendu, trying to open up and turn out as I get to that position. And then I bring it around to the front of me, and once I've crossed back into the center of my body from my front tendu, I bring it back into first position turned out. And then from here, I can restart that, do the same process again, extend to my back tendu, round the circle to my side, bring it to my front, and then close back into first position. Same exact approach applies when you're doing the other leg. You just work the other leg. You extend that to the back, you round to your side, you open it to the front, and then you close back to first position. So some things to remember as you're working through your rond de jambes. First, your hips stay square and flat to the front. Be careful not to let your hips rise or push out to the sides, and be careful not to let them rock side to side as you're working through your rond de jambe. Keep that still as your leg rotates outside of your hip socket going through. You can place your hands on your hips or flat in front of you, just below your stomach, to make sure that it stays flat to the front of the room as you're working your rond de jambes and the technique of them. Similar to tendus, you want to make sure that your legs are straight and connected the entire time. So like our technique for our tendus, we're not bending our leg and then extending out to this position. We're keeping it straight and connected to the floor the entire time, all the way through to the close of first position. So be careful not to let your leg bend as you're going around in any of the rond de jambe positions. And again, we keep that toe connected to the floor the entire time. It's really just my big toe though that stays connected. And if I had like sand at my feet or anything like that, you would see one solid line drawn in the sand from my big toe as I rond de jambe around. So that's another little analogy or visualization you can use to help you understand rond de jambes. And then lastly, the ultimate goal for rond de jambes is to make this a smooth motion between the front, side, and back tendus. So you don't want to extend out the tendu, hit the side, hit the back, and then close. You want it to make it one smooth motion that continues all the way through to the close. So when I start in this first position, I extend out, I go to my side, I round it all the way around, and then I close back into my first position. From here, I could reverse it if I wanted to, depending on what exercise I may be doing, or I could repeat, switch to the other side, whatever I choose to do. But again, ultimately, we're just trying to make this one smooth motion that's really extended with straight legs and proper technique. So just to recap everything we've gone over today, we talked about how to do forward and reverse rond de jambes. We discussed how essentially it's the extension of tendus and connecting each of the tendu positions in one smooth motion. We discussed how to go through the process of it, make sure we're maintaining turnout, keeping our hips flat and square to the front, keeping our legs straight, all of those technical things, and then ultimately just trying to make it one smooth motion as we go around through the skill. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed our video on rond de jambes today. These are an essential skill that'll be really helpful with your dance technique and then ultimately your dance choreography over time. So make sure that you're taking the time to practice this and just get a little bit more comfortable with the idea. Before you go, please make sure to like this video and comment down below any questions you may have, or if you have anything you'd like to see in future videos, go ahead and feel free to let us know down below. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video.